In this episode,
The M67AN Pro just arrived. In this video I decided to give away this pair of speakers in case if it's going to survive, of course. Hello YouTube and welcome to a new episode. This is Eugene as usually, and today, as you can see, I just finished our new test room and it's perfect time to share with you information about our new products. And in the first episode I'm gonna make a set everyone who own M67AN, because we have a M67AN Pro just arrived. Today we're going to test it in a different condition, we're going to find all limits, and of course we're going to compare with the previous M67AN. But before that, why that episode is really sad, because M67AN Pro bigger. So in case if you have opportunity to cut bigger hole and mount new Pro, that's great. In my case I don't have that opportunity because my MDF rings are pretty tired, and in case if I'm gonna go through that risk, I might just lose the whole door panel. So, and because of this, I decided to build new door panels. Now, let's move forward to our new M67AN. Here on my little table, I prepped two different models for you, M67AN and M67AN Pro. And before we're gonna move forward to compare those two models, I want to go in a manual and find out key difference on specification. That will allow me to better understand what we're going to expect from Pro version. So in here on manual, I can see that the frequency response rate has been improved. Now it's 120 Hz up to 14,000 Hz, whereas the M67AN from 200 Hz up to 14,000 Hz. But at the same time, I a little bit disagree with this specification about 67AN. I'm currently running them from 100 Hz up to 14,000 Hz. They beautifully respond on those frequency, and I totally love this speaker. That's my favorite speaker, and that's why I run that speaker. And the second specification is the RMS power. Of course, max power has been changed as well, but I'm not just attention on the max power. So the RMS power has been improved by 10%. 10% improvement. In the same time, we have the same size of voice coil, which is absolutely insane. Now, how we make that happen? Design, guys. And let's take a closer look on what's new in the Pro version comparing with the previous M67AN. And first thing you'll notice is the added cooling vent together with the heatsink. So those help us to better pull the heat away from the voice coil, together with the new coil design that give us a solid 10% power increase over the previous model. Now, I know some of you might say adding the cooling vent sounds like a super simple solution, but here's the catch. Any changes in the structure of the speaker directly affect a small parameter. And even something as basic as the vent can sometimes do more harm than good. So there's where real engineering challenge begins. And just to finish up our magnet system topic, I want to say one more time, the vent system is not about to drill a hole inside in a magnet. It's all about to redesign the whole speaker again to make sure it's going to perform even better. Now, let me move to the front of the speaker and answer on another really recent question that I've been asked last 2 years, is when and why DeafBonce never made it any mid-range speakers with a carbon fiber cone and the bullets. And answer is really simple. As of today, exact press form on the paper allowed us to make this speaker one of the kind and sound differently comparing with our competitive. And as soon as the technology on the carbon fiber will allow us to bring the same performance as the paper, of course we're going to move forward. But now, let's talk about the price. As of today, the price tag on this beautiful M67AN Pro $449.90, which sounds expensive, but now is perfect time to go through the details, what it's gonna take to build a speaker like this. And first and the most important is the engineering. So what you need to do is grab that speaker right from your mind and transfer to the blank piece of paper. Then you need to make that happen. Of course, you also need to test it, but before you're going to test it, you need to make the tools to make sure you're going to be able to make that type of basket and the rest of the parts, because you cannot find any single TI parts. The TI parts, that means is you simply grab some prep technology from Chinese manufacturer, build your own speaker, and you're good to go. In our case, you have to build your own tooling, and they're going to cost you $100,000. And together with the engineering, then years of testing, and finally we can hold this piece of art in our hand. And with all that thing, I think price tag of $449 it's not that expensive. Alright guys, now is the time to have some fun, but before we're gonna move forward, let me go through the old changes that I made it in our room, plus the test rules. So, in first changes that I made it, I switched the amplifier. Now we're gonna use SA2500.2, which allowed me to deliver as cleanest as possible signal to our speakers. On the right corner, we have a M67AN, and on the left corner, M67AN Pro. We're gonna start with the M67. The measurement system SPL Lab has been set from 80 Hz up to 15,000 Hz. What else? The duration of the test is going to be 30 seconds. The crossover has been set from 100 Hz up to 12.5 thousand Hz. So yeah, pretty much all. That's our first test. As of signal, we're going to use pink noise. And then we're going to move forward to our RMS test. And then we're going to finish up our video with musical battle. So time to have fun. Enjoy. .8. Let me write this down. Now let's switch to our new model, Pro version, M67AN Pro. Yep, for everyone who loves pink noise, we just did that test. Now is the time to switch equipment and measure the RMS, and then we're gonna have some fun on music. Alright guys, I just switched all equipment. Now we're ready to go to perform our RMS test. Then we're gonna use the speaker with direct purposes, listening to music. But before that, let's confirm the RMS. We're gonna run our test from 120 Hz. The reason is super simple, because my current clamps, they're working up to 120 Hz. So that's why we're gonna run this test in 120 Hz. In the same time, you can imagine how difficult it's gonna be for our speaker. And I think it's gonna survive, but we'll see. All right, time to have fun. Let's move forward. The test is gonna be 30 seconds. I think 30 seconds will be enough from 330 watts, 30 seconds direct sinus with 120 Hz. That's that's super cool if the speaker gonna be survived, but we'll see. One last remark, I just switched the measurement period to 40 seconds, so I left 10 seconds gap for myself to make sure I'm gonna be able to adjust the volume in the right way to give them exact RMS power. And also guys, just wanna add another remark. Of course I can run those speakers with like 1 minute run. I can give them insanely amount of power because 2500.2 ready for that. But at the same time, I decided to make something more cooler than that, than burn beautiful pair of speakers. I decided to give away a pair of speakers. So in case if those pairs are going to be survived, all you need to do is just like this video, subscribe on our channel, and leave the comment. And then in the end of the video, by let's do Friday. By Friday, we're gonna give away those pair of speakers in case if our video gonna get 300 likes. So perfect time to start. I think it's more funnier than burn some equipment. let's take a look. But yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe we're still gonna burn it. 120 hertz, 30 seconds. That's not a joke. Let's have some fun. Just finished our RMS test, and what I can say about the results is simply wow. Straight sinus signal, 120 hertz during 40 seconds, mid-range speaker. That was super stressful, and you saw how it survived really well. Didn't feel any smell. That was perfectly fine for this speaker, and to be honest with you, I want to add more power and see how many watts the Pro version gonna hold. But I already said that we're gonna give away this pair of speakers. So maybe next time we're gonna do some even stressful tests than we did today. But results are that's just wow. So let's listen to some music.